Good evening. It is 6:03 p.m. on Wednesday, February 18th, 2026, and I'm calling the regular meeting of the Ethics Board to order. Would you please call the roll?
Board Member Martin,
Here.
Vice Chair Lloyd,
Here.
Chair Sasic,
Here.
Board Member Tubman, Board Member Wilson.
Here. And can I get a motion for approval of the agenda?
Motion approved, minutes,
Whoops.
agenda.
And is there a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, motion was made and seconded. Please call the roll.
Board Member Martin,
Here.
Vice Chair Lloyd,
Yes.
Chair Sasic,
Yes.
Board Member Tubman. Yes. Board Member Wilson.
Yes. At this time, we'll go into our only hearing of the public in regards to a general hearing of the public. If you are here for agenda item number 6A, I would ask you to hold your comments until that hearing. And if you have something you'd like to talk about, you'll get 3 minutes. Please step up to the podium, identify your name and residence, and we will now open the first hearing of the public. Is there anybody that wishes to be heard during the first hearing of the public? It's general comments at this point. Seeing.
Good evening. John Solera, I live on Kelly Road.
Thank you.
I'm specifically recalling about a month ago, it was actually before the election, before the council changed, that it was introduced to us at the meeting that there had been, they were, thank you, that we were approving a new contractor list. And it was revealed to us at the time that one of the members of the contractor list had received some fines or whatever, maybe even some legal stuff happened to him that, for price rigging. I believe it was an asphalt contractor. And I was surprised that our council at the time, which was the old council, not including our newest member, Ms. Scott, did not follow up with questions on that. Because contracting in construction is a well-known money-grabbing thing. That's not the right term, but that's the term I'll use. My father worked in construction his entire life for the AFL-CIO union, I think 312. And he would often tell me how much goes on with contracting, bid rigging, substitution of materials and that kind of thing. And my surprise was the council did not question anything. They just let it through. They put the contracting thing through with the same contractors. And I do not believe that's a good thing. There should have been questions. There should have been, possibly even that contractor should have been stricken from the list of approved contractors, at least for a couple of years. So I think that's something that ethics and the council and other people involved in contracting should be paying attention to. Because I believe that was an opportunity missed to figure out what was up. We don't know if an Eastpointe contract was ever rigged, but it's not out of the question. It could be. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard? Just give us a moment. Okay, you can go ahead and state your name
Okay, my
and
name's
residence, please.
Larry Edwards, Eastpointe residence. I'm just, have concern, I'm just kind of confused, being the first time in the ethic, board meeting. Thank you. And what have you, with this agenda, just from the start, this is October 17, 24, so I don't know if I'm looking at the right thing or not. This is what was out on the table and everything, so I'm totally confused on that and what have you, in trying to follow the agenda. The other thing is, I noticed that it stated, this is a special meeting, so I'm wondering how often do, the Board of Ethics meet, as well as, what makes this special, in comparison. I've never seen that, I hadn't never been to a meeting, but I do, observe it from time to time, and I've never noticed it to be special, so that's, my concern about this.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard during this hearing of the public?
Karen Morajan, Eastpointe resident. This is my first Board of Ethics meeting I have attended. I just found out about this last night at the council meeting. These are some very serious problems and concerns, and I personally think that the Board of Ethics needs to be made aware of this, and I certainly would like to see this board take proactive action. All the city officials were made aware of a nativity scene across the street that was using live animals on December 3rd. They knew in advance. I kept telling them repeatedly, that needs to be canceled. It violates our own local ordinances. And it was just ignored, ignored, ignored. The event happened. Chief Haynes was present, and his attitude was, oh, the rabbits are fine. They live on a farm. Besides, it's only for an hour. Well, I'm sorry, but I am extremely familiar with the Animal Welfare Act, with our Michigan anti-cruelty statute. I also have rescue rabbits of my own. So I've had rescue rabbits for over 34 years. I know what I'm talking about. I know what the statute is. I know what the federal law is. And I am infuriated that he had such a dismissive attitude towards these animals. There was no shelter whatsoever. The AWA clearly states there must be shelter for them to remain dry from the rain and snow. They had wet, heavy snow falling on them for over an hour. There was no shelter. There was no way for them to stay dry. Rabbits are extremely fragile, okay? That makes them susceptible to hypothermia, frostbite, upper respiratory infections. I managed to get in touch with a veterinarian who wrote me an affidavit, and I read that onto the record at the remainder of it at last night's council meeting and the council meeting 2 weeks ago. And she warned of all the dangers posed to those poor rabbits. No one is doing anything. I let animal control know about it. Now I'm not expecting them to do anything. The reason why is because they are under the purview of the Animal Police Department. Even if they did take action, even if they did investigate, he's gonna override it. And just this arrogant, crass attitude. The animals, whether they live here in Eastpointe or they come through, in fact, the petting zoos should not even be allowed in Eastpointe because it violates the local ordinance 8.4 in regards to farm animals. You can't keep nor maintain farm animals. The only two exceptions are rabbits and ducks. That means you have to be a resident and 2 per household, not you get to bring them in with a petting zoo. That's banned. And this is just crazy. It's outrageous. Why is this city violating its own local ordinances? Why are city officials violating the Michigan anti-cruelty statute, which is MCL 750.50, Section 1, Section L, which is very clear about adequate shelter? There was none. So these city officials violated local ordinances, the state statute, and federal law. No matter how much hell I raise over this, nobody wants to listen, nobody wants to take action. If y'all think I'm gonna go away on this, oh, you clearly do not underestimate me. I will make sure there's justice for these rabbits come hell or high water. I'm not done fighting this. In fact, I was filing yet another complaint before I came to this meeting. I'm not done. I certainly hope this board will take action and get through to these city officials. They need to do their job. If I have
You
to
have
file-
30 seconds left.
Thank you. If I have to file a writ of mandamus to sue these city officials to get them to do their job, I will. Chief Haynes can sit there and play his little game of I'm exercising my discretion. That's an excuse not to do your job. I have pictures, I have video. That's irrefutable evidence of neglect. There's no reason for this. And especially, we're paying taxes for what? To make excuses? We as citizens have to follow the ordinances, but city officials...
Your time is up. Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard tonight in the hearing of the public? Is there anybody else? Seeing none, the hearing of the public is closed. Moving on to approval of the minutes from our, the Board of Ethics meeting on October 17th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the Board of Ethics meeting for October 17th of 2024.
Is there a second?
And I second that motion.
Please call the roll.
Board Member Tubman? Yes. Vice Chair Lloyd?
Yes.
Chair Sasek?
Yes.
Board Member Wilson?
Yes.
Board Member Martin?
Yes.
Thank you. There is no unfinished business. We'll move in now into new business, and we will open the hearing of the public for any comments for the determination of sufficiency on the complaint filed 11/29/2025. Is there anybody that would wish to be heard on this? Is there anybody that wishes to be heard during this hearing of the public? Seeing none? Whoops.
Yep.
Sorry, I thought there would be more people wanting to speak. I'm not sure how this agenda goes. Anyways, Jennifer Nicholas, Eastpointe resident. I'm looking through the agenda here, and I'm seeing the timeline that was included in the agenda. And it looks like on Wednesday, August 27th of 2025, Vicki Brooks submitted a memo to the Ethics Board, City Council, quite a few people outlining issues that she was having and concerns that she was having. On Friday, August 29th of 2025, at 6:27 p.m., the agenda for this September 2nd City Council meeting was posted online, which was much later than usual, especially for a holiday weekend. One of the agenda items is the budget amendment that reduced Vicki Brooks' salary by approximately 1/3. At the time, I was looking for the agenda because we were talking about 9 Mile Road, and I had actually emailed Ms. Homan and Ms. Doom around 4:30 that Friday and asked if they were going to be posting the agenda for the city council meeting. And Ms. Homan responded to me at 6:27 PM on Friday saying, just posting it now, sorry for the delay. So I can see why Ms. Brooks might think that that was delayed because they were last minute adding a budget amendment affecting her salary and her job in response to the memo that she had emailed 2 days before on August 27th. That's just kind of, an observation that I had. Also in this timeline here, they speak about the September 2nd City Council meeting, but what's not included is that Vicki Brooks spoke at both hearings of the public regarding the August 27th memo, where she outlined concerns of improper procedures that she believed were discriminatory and contributed to a hostile work environment. City Council voted 4-1 to approve this budget amendment to reduce her salary by 1/3. The following day, from what I understand, on September 3rd, Ms. Brooks' employment was terminated. I know that there was a third-party attorney investigation, and I'm wondering, I don't know if you can answer questions or if I'm just speculating, that I was wondering if that was, it looks like that's just concerning her complaint of August 27th, that there was an investigation. So I was wondering if there's been an investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ms. Brooks' salary cut and subsequent immediate termination. And if so, were all involved parties, including the city manager, assistant city manager, finance director, and all 5 city council members that actually were the catalyst for reducing her salary via this budget amendment and then the subsequent termination because her position was immediately eliminated after that. Just thoughts that I have as a resident. I remember Ms. Brooks being at the city council meeting on September 2nd, and it kind of just struck me that the whole thing seemed a little unusual. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard on this item? Just give me a minute, Mr. Edwards. The sands of time. Go ahead.
All right, Larry Edwards, Eastpointe residents. Yeah, my mind, as it reflects back now after hearing Jennifer speaking and what have you, I too was at one of the meetings, and they, city council had, through the city attorney, did an investigation, and they found no fault in the procedures that had happened to Ms. Vicki and what have you. And then they named, the city attorney named all the people that were involved in the investigation and what have you, but I didn't see, it appeared that there was no witnesses to the incident. There was that had firsthand knowledge of anything happening and what have you. And I found that very odd, very weird. Why wouldn't you investigate certain people and just go and investigate people that is bringing, that's being the accuser of the ones that's involved of the firing and what have you. So I just thought that was very odd, very weird, strange and what have you. So there seemed to be a whole lot going with this. Again, now I'm receiving the update agenda and what have you. It states again, Board of Ethics special meeting. I'm still, from the first time I was up speaking and what have you, why is this labeled special? What makes this special compared to the other one, the outdated one? It just says that's the board meeting. Board of Ethics. It don't say special or anything. So I'm just wondering, you make all of them special? Are they all supposed to be special? Or are they supposed to be just at the board meeting? Or is this really special? And I'd like to know why is it special? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Vicki Brooks, and I just wanted to let you know that I am available to answer any questions that you might have as you're looking at this material. Also, I wanted to bring a little clarity to what Mr. Edwards was saying in relationship to, it just slipped my mind, I'm sorry. But he had a question about something, and I wanted to answer that question, but I've forgotten what it was at this point. So just wanted you to know that I am here.
All right. Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard at this time?
In regards to this subject matter, I do recall Ms. Brooks being at previous meetings and discussing what had happened to her, and I find it very unsettling what occurred. I don't feel like she was treated fairly at all. I do have a question. I understand you can't answer it right now. Perhaps you can answer it during the comments. And what I would like to know is in regards to, you know, the investigation has to be done and so on and so forth. Is this going to be an investigation where it will be available for the public to access through FOIA, or is this going to be like some kind of internal review where the public and the media are prevented from accessing it through FOIA? Just, you know, circling back real quick. That's what Chief Haynes did with that petting zoo. So, but
The petting zoo is not an issue at this time.
That's it. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to do like a compare and contrast. That's all. So I'm hoping you can answer my question during the comments, and I'm done.
Thank you.
John Solera. I do remember the two meetings where the young lady was present and airing her grievances. I can't say I understand the situation, but it doesn't look right. All of a sudden, for the council to cut an employee like that, I can't wrap my head around it because there's something suspicious there. We were in the search for a new city manager, and I don't know, her pay got cut 30%, and then quite shortly after, we were upping the moving expenses or something, if I've got this correct, for the city manager. I don't know how this works because I'm not an insider, but it doesn't look right. And I don't know what kind of investigation is going to be carried out, but I don't believe in using an attorney that we have other relations with. Kind of reminds me of the Eastpointe School District. Christina Gibson down there.
Again, that's not germane to this issue.
That's her favorite plot.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard on this specific issue? Mr. Blum.
I also would like to let the board know that, first of all, this is Randy Blum, I'm the finance director. I'm the one that created the budget amendment, and I'm not sure how the forum works here. But I can provide clarity on what actually happened and when it actually happened. So whenever, if you want to ask, I'm available.
Yes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Juanita Walltower. I am a resident as well as an employee here. After reading the agenda on the, online, once it was posted, I was mentioned inside of the documents, and I wanted to just, agree and say, that yes, I was mistreated as well. I would like to say that I was removed from meetings, as an African-American woman, along with other employees as well. And, I just wanted to say that. And I'm here for any questions.
I'm sure Elkie do. Ms. Waltire? Yes. Who mistreated you? I'm sorry.
Elkie Doom.
Okay, thank you.
Interim city manager. at the
Okay,
time.
thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard? Okay.
It was in relationship to the investigation. I looked at the package, and there is some reference to the investigation there. What I wanted to say is that there are several people, including Ms. Juanita, who were never interviewed relative to the investigation that the city council paid for. I have spoken to at least 4 other individuals, including the current councilman, Rob Baker. He had some insights. He voted against what they did, and he was not interviewed relative to the city's investigation. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you.
Hello, Elkie Doom. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wishes to be heard during the hearing of the public on this issue? Is there anybody else? Seeing none, the hearing of the public on this issue is closed. We received in our packet a meeting date from February 18th, 2026, tonight's meeting, and the topic being the investigation of the third-party attorney. And back in on August 27, 2025, Ms. Brooks did file a complaint with the city, and it was regarding hiring practices, review of background investigations, as well as criminal and convictions. Ms. Brooks had named a number of people that she felt supported the fact that there was mistreatment. The investigator, the city administration actually requested a third-party investigator to take it out of house, and that investigator interviewed people, and his findings, and again, we're working off of this because this was an attorney-client privileged meeting after one of the council meetings. But what we were informed of is that the investigating attorney interviewed the people and the rules, and basically came that there really was nothing to support the accusations. This particular board gets a complaint, and we have to look at the facts that they're presented to us. And then we have to make a determination if there's sufficiency to carry it forward or to just decline moving forward with it. So at this time, I'd like to ask any of the board members if they have any questions for Ms. Doom, Mr. Blum, or Ms. Brooks. Would anybody like to ask any questions?
Mr. Chairman, this is for Ms. Doom. Do you know exactly how many people were interviewed during this investigation?
No. I do know that it took her, it was a third party. I can't remember her name. She interviewed a number of people. And it was quite thorough. She did speak to myself. She spoke to Ms. Brooks. She spoke to a lot of other people within the organization. I was informed by our labor attorney, Brandon Fournier, that the results of that investigation were brought forth to the council members, to the labor attorney and the regular attorney, and he told me I was cleared of all charges against me. I had not violated any laws. I had not violated HIPAA. I did not reduce Vicki Brooks' salary in order to enhance my own salary. Those are some of the accusations she made. I was cleared of every single one.
I have 3 questions, if that's okay. The second question is, was anyone hired to replace her?
No. The city manager is the personnel director by charter in the city of Eastpointe. And it is my understanding, I thought it was quite clear when our mayor spoke during the budget hearing that he was a council member a number of years ago when they determined that it would be helpful to have an administrative assistant help the city manager with some of the functions of HR, or they called it personnel back then. And he was very concerned how this had escalated from an administrative position up to, Ms. Brooks was hired at about $68,000 a year. And within about a year's time, she was at $90,000 a year as a deputy. The mayor was very clear that the council was not in favor of having a position like this for a small community. He even stated we're a 5-square-mile community. This is not a need that we have. We have a new city manager. It is his determination at this point whether he would like to continue being the HR director, personnel director, or if he'd like to keep it within house and kind of spread it amongst the employees, or if he'd like to advertise. But the one thing that was made very clear by the council is that they are not in favor of a high-paying deputy's position. So the position was eliminated. The elected officials asked Mr. Blum to put this as part of his budget amendment. They voted on the elimination of that. Now it'll be up to the new manager to decide how he'd like to handle the HR function as he goes forward, because he is by charter the HR director. I hope that brings a little clarity.
Thank you. My third question is, I believe, for Randy.
Okay.
Did we get a public amount of money that we paid for the private investigation, the third-party investigation? How much did that cost?
I do not know that off the top of my head. The bill has been paid, but I do not know the total cost. I can look it up, but I don't know it off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a few questions. First with Mr. Bloom. Mr. Bloom, just a couple questions. You had mentioned during your first comments that you brought forth the budget, the reduction of Ms. Brooks' position as far as the budget amendment. Can you just briefly explain what brought forth that, because the process to bring that forth?
There was council dissatisfaction with the position. They did not feel that the city could afford or should be paying a $90,000 a year position when that's actually the role of the city manager. As Ms. Doom already mentioned, Mayor Kleinfeld mentioned that in his comments. The request was to bring eliminate the deputy position and bring back something at a lower level. We had conferences with the city labor attorney on the best course of action, and a budget amendment was the recommended way to do it. So the budget amendment was actually eliminating the deputy position, the $90,000 position, and replacing it with a lower level, which was a $60,000 position. Now, the budget amendment's only $25,000 because we're 2 months into the fiscal year. But that 25 would be a $30,000 annualized amount. I do have some documentation for some relevant information because the complaint is actually a whistleblower retaliation complaint by Ms. Brooks. If you look at the packet, that her complaint came in on August 27th, and the budget amendment was done the following Tuesday in retaliation. And I have documentation that shows the budget amendment was actually completed on August 20th, a week before her complaint came in. So there
Ms.
cannot be retaliation.
I understand that, but maybe I'm a little bit more intricately involved in this as far as knowing the process going back before that. I need to ask you a question. The budget amendment reduced her salary. But why wasn't Ms.
Eliminated her position. I want that very clear because it keeps being
let me
misstated
finish my
that it
question,
was a
please.
salary reduction.
Let me finish
It was
my
a
question,
position
please.
elimination.
But let me finish my question
replaced by a
first.
new position.
Let me finish
And
my,
I want that clear.
no, I just want to finish my question first.
Okay. But I want it clear. It's
So
not
it was a
salary
process,
reduction.
please let me finish my question, please. Process was to eliminate, the budget amendment was to eliminate position and reduce the salary, correct? Am I wrong?
It was eliminate the position and replace it with a lower paying position.
With a lower paying position, but why cannot Ms. Brooks be offered the lower paying position?
When it is created by the new city manager and it is posted, she is welcome to apply for it.
Okay, so she was laid off, separated, but she can apply for it in the future.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if I may, let's circle back to the question I asked Ms. Doom about if someone was brought in to replace her, and she said no. But you're saying that someone was brought in.
No, I'm saying there was budget money left in there for a new position, but the decision then was left to the new city manager. Ms. Doom chose not to make a decision on a replacement. That position still has not been filled. It actually hasn't even been created. The job description has to be written. It has to go before civil service for approval. We then have to do testing, posting, all that fun stuff. And then at some point in the future, if the new city manager wishes that position to be filled, it will be filled. But as of today, it has not been filled.
Understood.
Okay.
I'd like to ask Ms. Doom a couple questions too, please.
Sure.
Ms. Doom, good evening. I just want to ask a couple questions. And is it true that prior to this budget amendment being brought forth, that your office or some employees brought forth an effort to, in other words, the process that was done to increase Ms. Brooks' salary was brought forth to the Civil Service Board regarding changing that process or reversing what was done by the Civil Service Board? The reason I'm asking that is because I attended the city council meeting when they brought forth the budget reduction, amendment to eliminate the position. And I just thought it was strange that a month later, there was two efforts brought forth to change the process. Then a month later, the measure was brought forth to city council to eliminate the position. I'm just asking, was that accurate in your recollection?
We both attended those meetings of the civil service.
Also,
And,
two,
yeah, I was there, and so were some others. It was the union stewards who attended the meetings regularly and asked the question about had the position been posted properly?
True.
Was it a new position? So that was brought forth not by myself, but by the union stewards who felt that proper procedure had not been followed. They questioned it. Civil Service did their very best to give them an answer. Time had gone by. And if I remember correctly, it was the decision of the Civil Service not to repost this position as a new position. This was kind of water under the bridge. But it was not brought forth by me.
Okay, that's why I wanted to clear, make
Yeah.
sure, was it?
No, that was
But
the
also,
union.
too, was it also brought forth that, lost my train of thought, that that we also brought in former city manager, Ms. Walden, to explain how Ms. Brooks' salary was created and why it was created, and that there was a compensation study done that warranted the increase in pay. I mean, was that correct?
Yes, I was there, and I heard what she said.
And also, too, in regards to Ms. Brooks, when the union steward brought forth the complaint regarding that it wasn't posted properly, if I recall correctly, the Civil Service Board did vote to not act on that matter because it was already been approved by City Council based on the compensation study that was presented to City Council that warranted Ms. Brooks' increase in salary. Am I correct in my analogy on that or no?
Yes.
Okay. In regards to what Mr. Lloyd, Board Member Lloyd asked you, in regards to the investigation done by the city attorney, by the attorney that they contracted with, is there any reason why that all the employees that was listed by Ms. Brooks in her complaint, I guess I'm trying to understand, how can you have an investigation that's fair if they're listed in the complaint but never interviewed? I mean, do anybody question that, or?
I was not privy to who the third-party attorney was, so who she interviewed. Of course, when someone brings serious allegations forth, the council is obligated to hire an outside party to do the investigation. And so I can't speak to who she interviewed. I know that she interviewed me, and of course, Ms. Brooks, and she interviewed because he did provide the documentation based upon council's request. But I can't speak to it. I've not seen the report. I simply have been told by our attorney that I am cleared of all allegations made by Vicki Brooks.
I'm asking because you were still the city manager when the investigation was brought forth. I know you probably couldn't look at it, but who actually looks at the investigation and say, if they look at the complaint that was made, all the parties that was listed, some of the employees, there were city council people. I remember Councilmember Baker made on the record he had serious concerns about the process of the budget amendment that was brought forth. I guess I'm trying to understand why every councilman was not at least interviewed. All the people that was listed in the complaint were not interviewed. To me, I'm an investigator. I've been investigating for 40 years. And when you look at a complaint on its totality, you have to interview everybody. At least you should. I guess Ms. Brooks, I don't know how she know, said that nobody in the complaint, none of the parties listed in the complaint were interviewed. No city council members were interviewed. So I'm just wondering how can that be a complete investigation without interviewing everybody listed in the complaint?
I'm not certain her statements are accurate, sir.
Those are all the questions I have on that.
Thank you. Ms. Tubman, do you have any questions?
Sorry. It's my understanding when there's an investigation that is brought about from, say, city council to an outside third-party lawyer to investigate, that it's a client and attorney privileged information, and it only goes to the client, which is city council. It's not supposed to be totally divulged to the public or even to the claimant. So if there was information in there as to who was interviewed, who wasn't, that's for the city council to know only. So I don't see why other people would need to know that.
Well,
The investigation was done, was paid for, and there was a summary conclusion of it.
well, I know Councilman Baker is a part of the council, and based on what I just heard, he said he wasn't interviewed. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's what he said. That's what we was told, yes.
So I'm just trying to make it make sense.
Okay, but my understanding is that the council members, the city council members, were not a part of the complaint. So why would the investigator, I don't know if she did or didn't, why would the investigator have to question the council members if the council members were not a part of that initial complaint? That's my question.
But
Board Member Wilson, do you
digress.
have any questions?
Not at this time.
Chairperson, I have a comment based on Ms. Tappan's comments. Anytime I understand that attorney-client privilege, but Mr. Baker, on record, expressed some concerns. So at that point, he becomes a part of the investigation. Because he may have some knowledge of why his concerns, but he didn't want to say it publicly. I think each council member is a part of the investigation because of the budget amendment that's brought forth, based on why they wanted to act that way. Was it a specific reason? I think there was other parties, example, some of the employees were never interviewed. We're not talking about sharing what they said or didn't say. We're talking about the fact they were never interviewed.
Okay, still I question, because the initial complaint by Ms. Brooks and her documentation that she gave to city council members and to other board members was concerning her. It wasn't the other people involved in what she was, talking about. If they want to bring forth a complaint, then they should do it separately. And maybe there could be investigations into them separately, but this was supposed to be about Ms. Brooks. That's how I see it.
So the bigger question here also that we're missing right now is Ms. Doom was an interim city manager at the time of the issue. Ms. Brooks was an acting deputy HR person, but neither are employees of the city. And in the report that came out, there really isn't any ethics code violations that have been addressed, which means that it makes it more difficult to fall under our purview because we can address the ethics violations. And that was never a question. It was supposedly termination, the money, but city council has the right to set and amend budgets, and that's exactly what they did. So at this point, based on the information that we also have from the third-party investigator who feels that there was not enough to substantiate the complaints, really, I don't see how we can move forward with it because there's not a true ethics code violation. And that is what we are here to address, is violations of the ethics code. So, yes. Go ahead.
Chair, I think I defer, I disagree with you. If you look at the complaint we received, it's specific in here what Ms. Brooks' complaint is based on, which ethics code violation she's making a complaint on. Now, I think we have to decide whether or not there's enough to go forward based on the violation that she's alleging occurred based on the ordinance violation, which is, now, I'll tell you specific, Section 2-101, retaliation.
Interestingly enough, I remember in the early memorandum that we received back in August, and then there was information that followed after that, and things kept changing. I guess what we could do is we could vote to see if the board feels there is enough to move forward or not. So I guess the terminology would be, do you feel there is enough information provided to move forward with a deeper investigation in regards to an ethics violation? Or do we follow the report that basically said none of it was substantiated?
Mr. Chair,
ahead.
all due respect, I think the third-party investigation by the law firm has nothing to do with this ethics board as far as decision. We're looking at, we understand that they did an investigation and their conclusion, but their conclusions are not, it doesn't determine what we can look at and make a determination on, based on Ms. Brooks' complaint based on retaliation. We can ask other questions. We can also look at other things later. We're not doing it today, but I think, as you said, we should vote whether or not there's enough to move forward on a complaint based on the ordinance section of 2-101.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question, and perhaps the
Yes.
city manager can answer this. If we vote to move forward with this, what's the next step?
Good evening, everyone. I will defer to Chair Sasek. I'm not entirely sure. This is my first ethics hearing as well. I think the question of determining the next step belongs with the board, and you can determine what that step is as well. So per your guidance already given, I think you can decide where to go from here.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Ms. Board Member Tubbins.
Thank you. Well, the purpose of the ethics board is just to be an advisory board to the city council. We do not have any power to enforce any rules, any legal implications, or any findings. We just can come after listening to testimonies and documentation that we're reading. We come to our own opinions and our own findings on what we hear and what we read. And then we advise the council. That's all the ethics board can do. We don't have any other powers other than that. So if this were to go forward, it would have to be a recommendation from the ethics board to the city council, who is our governing power, to have a disciplinary hearing. And that's all we can do, as far as I understand.
And the other issue becomes, how do you have a disciplinary hearing for employees that are no longer employees for the city and haven't been for a number of months now?
Yes, that's the scale that doesn't balance correctly. How can you do that? It doesn't seem like it would be viable. It seems to me that it would be redundant compared to what has already happened, what's already transpired, what has already been decided. Sorry.
At this time, go ahead.
He was trying to get your attention.
Oh, go ahead.
I disagree with the comments that was just made, but I think what we need to do is, in the past, we always had the city attorney here, kind of advised us what we can do at these stages. I just think we need to get, next meeting, have the city attorney here if we go forward. I understand Ms. Doom is currently now a former employee, but does not deter us from moving forward with a process to make a determination based on looking at, and I pulled the document, I've been looking at them all weekend. And we do have some authority as far as making decisions. Not legal, but we can make determination and it becomes a part of the record.
And that's why I posed my question to the city manager, because I didn't see the city attorney.
Right.
Yep.
In the
think we
past,
need
the
to-
city attorney advised us going along what we can and cannot do, and gave us direction as far as making sure we did the right thing.
I think we need to vote on it.
Okay. Go ahead.
I have a question for Ms. Brooks, please. What is your expectation in bringing this to the Ethics Board, since you've gone to many other commissions, other boards? What is your expectation of what you expect us to be able to do to go forward?
Well, my request was regarding retaliation. So very specifically, what I am claiming is that Ms. Doom, because of the difficulties that were mentioned in the August 27th letter, I complained to her supervisors, which were the city council. And as a result, not just of the memo, but of all of the issues since she arrived here, I was retaliated against because she wanted me out of the way, because I kept bringing to her attention, this is against the written rules, this is against the civil service rules, this is against HR best practices, this is against the administrative rules, and we continue to bump heads. But so as a result of that 6-month interaction with her, she, along with the finance director, came up with this plan to eliminate my position. So I'm here because I was retaliated against, and I'm asking this board to determine if I have grounds for my accusation of retaliation based on the information that you gleaned. That's what my request is. And if you find that, then, whatever other steps you can take, that's up to you. But I'm looking for you to look at retaliation. That's what the ordinance says. That's what the Whistleblower Act says, that I am not to be retaliated against because I bring forth misdeeds, misactions, misappropriations. I'm not to be retaliated against. That's what the law says. And I understand all these other things are being discussed, but I'm saying Ms. Doom directly retaliated against me and I know they're saying that the city council did the request to lower the rate and all of that. We can get into all of that, but it would have never gotten to the city council if Ms. Doom and Mr. Blum had not put it on the agenda. So they had some leeway here in getting it on the agenda.
Well, do you have actual documentation that those two, Ms. Doom and Mr. Bloom, had conspired together? Because that sounds like what you're accusing them of conspiring together in retaliation against you, when it was up to our finance director to make the budget, present it to city council, and the city council votes on that, what he presented, which has to be all factual.
Well, I don't have any direct evidence, but what I can say to you, so that's why these other things were discussed. We had a compensation study that was done, and what they didn't mention is that probably 12, 15 people got raises. That compensation study said that I was doing work
Ms.
that
Brooks,
was necessary,
Ms.
that
Brooks.
was outside.
Ms. Brooks, please.
So if you look at those things, can I not answer a question?
She was asked a question, but she's bringing things into that have not been documented anywhere. And again,
It's documented. You can get that. It's easy, it's readily available. I got it through a FOIA. It's readily available. So I'm not saying anything that you cannot find. And when I mentioned about the other people that weren't interviewed, that's information you can easily get. Just ask. The names were given. You can just ask. So to say that I'm making this up, it's not true. You can ask.
I'm not saying that you're making it up, but what I am saying is that what was presented to us and what was presented to us through the information of the third-party investigator, it's a case of there's not enough to prove the accusations. And that's what we have to go by. I'm actually going to present the question. I'm going to ask the board to vote if they feel there's enough information to move forward, or if we're just going to let it end right here tonight.
Mr. Chairman, I have one
Yes.
question before you ask the question. Ms. Brooks, how long were you employed by the city of Eastpointe before you was terminated?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So the question is, do we feel there's enough to move forward or accept the third-party investigator's report that nothing was substantiated and it should be a done deal? Is there a second to that?
Mr. Chair, you asked us to vote on it, or you asked in a second?
We're gonna vote if we feel there's enough to warrant moving forward.
I would say I'll put a motion for that we should move forward. We're looking at this complaint.
Well, we'll do it as a yes or a no.
And I will second that motion.
Which motion? Mine or his?
You asked for a motion
You
first.
asked for a motion.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. And restate your motion for this, the recording secretary.
You want you to restate your motion.
Go ahead and restate your motion.
Motion to move forward with the complaint of Ms. Brooks of retaliation based on the ordinance.
Okay, so Board Member Martin made the motion. Board Member Lloyd seconded it.
Seconded, yes.
Please call the roll.
Board Member Martin?
Yes?
Vice Chair Lloyd?
Yes.
Board Member Tubman? No. Board Member Wilson?
No.
Chair Sasek?
No. At this time, we will move into board member comments. Board Member Wilson.
This was difficult and emotional, but removing the emotion and sticking to the information as presented to us, I do not see a path forward for this.
Board Member Tubman.
Well, Mr. Wilson, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was thinking and what I wanted to share. So that's why I voted as I did. I understand the emotions, as he said. I understand your position, Ms. Brooks. I've been in that position myself before. It's not a pretty situation. It's very hard. And yet, there's only a certain avenue and a certain point that you can get to where you just can realize that it's not going to change. That's it. But again, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
Board Member Martin.
Yes, a couple comments. I think when you look at the totality of the complaint brought forth by Ms. Brooks, the timing, look at some of the comments by employees. I'm not saying Ms. Doom did anything wrong, but when you look at the ordinance in itself as a whole, retaliation is certainly suspect and something that I think this board should have looked at, but we voted. When you look at the timing and the dates, how they coincide, and I always say, anytime an employee files a complaint, whether or not it's a legitimate complaint, then 2 days or 3 days later, you're terminated or something comes up where you're let go, it's suspect. It can be considered retaliation. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Board Member Lloyd?
I agree with Board Member Martin, and I do want to say we don't meet often, but I'm glad to see you all on today. And Ms. Brooks, I wish you the best, and I believe the best is yet to come. That's it.
So, this is not an easy seat for any of us to be in. We have to weigh many things when it is brought before us. And fortunately, we don't have to meet often. But we do have to look at the big picture. And there's varying opinions. Part of what I also read was that Civil Service Commission had looked into it as well and hadn't really acted on it. Again, it's hard to turn around and make a determination that's going to impact people that no longer work in the city either. So we have to make hard decisions. In regards to some of the comments that were made during the regular hearing of the public, this board cannot bring complaints forward to city council or to city administration. It works the other way around. They notify us that there's a complaint, and then we have to investigate it based on all of the information they give us. So to turn around and say, we need to hold people's feet to the fire in regards to city administration or the police department or the fire department, that's not how it works. So if you don't see anything coming out of those comments tonight from us, that's because it's not the process. And I would hope that everything works out well for everybody tonight and that we can all move forward to hopefully bring better things to the city. At this time, would somebody like to make a motion that we adjourn?
I make a motion that we adjourn our meeting tonight of Board of Ethics special meeting, Wednesday, February 18th, 2026.
Is there a second?
Second that motion.
Please call the roll.
Board Member Tubman?
Yes.
Board Member Martin?
Yes.
Board Member Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Chair Lloyd?
Yes.
Chair Sasic?
Yes, we are adjourned at 7:11. Thank you, everybody.